probably the easiest way to cover this would be to say, if you have this type of graphics card and probably the CPU that would go with it, you would be able to play at this spec. So from the bottom end, if you've got something like a 7080, an NVIDIA GTX 7080 or a Radeon 470, then you're in the low spec. You're 1080p, low spec. We're starting out with no ray tracing. If you've got a 1060 range card or a Radeon 590 range card, then you are in the recommended spec, 1080p, high settings. If you have a 2060 or a 570 XT, then you are in the ultra spec and you can play at something like 1440p. If you want to move into the ultra spec with no ray tracing, then you need something like 2080 Super, 3070, or a 6800 XT. If you want ray tracing, you can start out at the low end with something like a 2060 card, 2070 card, something like that. That'll get you 1080p with ray tracing. If you have something higher, like the new 3070 or something like a 2080 Ti, maybe, because that's the equivalent to the 3070 roughly, then you're at the 1440 spec with ray tracing. And if you want absolutely everything ultra level stuff, then you need something around the 3080, the new card that is very difficult to get right now, for 4K absolute ultra settings, and you should be able to run in, I would assume, the 60 frames per second department. So it looks like some good settings. I think this is a very comprehensive way of looking at it and making sure that if you're a PC player, you'll be able to decide roughly where you're going to be able to experience the game. So I think this is also going to help sell more graphics cards, even though they're hard to get right now.
I was interesting to see it because the first time when they revealed the system specs, I was like, you can run Cyberpunk on 1060 in recommended. Yeah. So that I honestly expected like, okay, minimum 1060, recommended 1070, maybe if we go from that range. But to see this, it's crazy. Like, one thing obviously we can see here is that they recommend SSD. They said no load times, but you have to load somehow in the background. And obviously, if you're running this on high settings with the textures with huge amounts with insane size, you cannot really do a transfer on hard drive. You need an SSD. And I think, GPU is important, but the most important thing, I guess, for loading and to run everything smoothly would be to have an SSD now. That's we are at that point. If you're gaming without an SSD on a PC, it's time to upgrade. And the prices have come down so much. You can get large SSDs for way cheaper than you could even just a few years ago. So time for an upgrade. It looks like more reasons to spend more money. Hopefully that's something everyone can afford. All right.